transition into that.
Oke, cek.
On that point,
Aman.
right? That's what makes
Oke, let's
these
go
teams so
Rrq
scary is
game
because you've had
3.
either a lot of the times it was the junglers
Busa.
carrying teams, right? But teams that either play
Surkiru.
for their jungler or their jungler plays for their team, that's a big thing here. So this is kind of a different, I guess, for a lot of people that have been following Carl Tizzy specifically, they might want him to play assassins, but if this is what he feels like is the best for Echo's success, then that's what's gonna be played, right? So, but is it gonna be able to compare against Albert in the jungle on the Hayabusa? We've seen amazing things before, but let's load up into game number 3. It's 1-1 in the series. Who edges ahead here?
Oh man, if you're looking at the choice of Albert, right, going for Hayabusa, surely it's great. Like, we're excited to see that. We want to see Albert being activated as assassin, but man, Atlas, Akai, Lapu Lapu, man, it's difficult to play a squishy hero if you're Rrq Hoshi. There's so much control and so much damage that can come out from those heroes.
Not only that, Wolf, but with an Atlas across view, when do you usually see no purifies from the other team?
Yeah,
that could be deadly.
That is a big observation here. Vin already getting stunned up. I'm surprised that Vin doesn't flicker it out just yet, but yes, there we go. He gets out of the tough situation. And, you know, coming back to that Atlas, I think we've seen many times, and in a couple of international competitions last year, that Atlas has really turned over some games in the later stages.
Yeah, definitely. And this time you have what? Heavy spin as well as the fatal links. You can like switch between the two, or what you will use as your first in. When it comes to your initiation, right? What do you use first? You can use like heavy spin first so that the Atlas will have a better ultimate afterwards. If you use it afterwards. So the Echo composition is really backing on the damage of the
Sejauh ini ya, Naomi
and they have the tools to make that work.
Well, I think on top of that, you know, if
Yawi
you are playing this Atlas, if Clay can find the death box
semoga bisa
in the
didodge
right moment at
sama
the right time,
PN.
then you can use that to your advantage, right? You are now forcing Echo wherever they decide to respond and set up with the fatal links, then hey, you can go ahead and set up that box and hopefully profit off of that, especially with Rrq here for Vin, right? We've seen it before, it can happen, but right now they've got to kind of check those boxes, and with the first turtle of the game coming up, Yawi's not level 4 yet, so you're going to see this kind of unfold here.
Yep, furious dive coming in from R7. He's right on top of Cartesi, forcing him to use his ultimate as soon as possible. And even Sanji really high up there with the feathered ash. Cartesi all by himself in R7 will find first blood. And here comes Yawi getting him going up and finds 3. But Sanji, he gets 1 already. Vin is so low, but they cannot get it. And now R7 with a double kill in the bag.
Great exchange from both teams. Echo starting with Sanford poking the Hayabusa, putting him low, forcing the one channel. But then again, Echo was forced to utilize Carl-Tizzy's ultimate far too early. The reset was there for Rrq, and then of course damage coming up from Clay's ultimate afterwards. Fortunately for Echo, they have Yawi's ultimate available there. He got level 4 just in time to pop the flicker and the fatal links onto 3 members of Rrq. Then Sanji dealing the damage. In the end though, Rrq still gets the turtle.
Wait, does he know? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he saw Yawi actually between rush to brush here, but he's going to open it up, sees Vin, backs away. Skylar, once again, just needs to maintain control, but Benny QT has been doing such a good job. He's looking for the trade, and now he might get the solo kill. Almost towards it.
Hampir pecah.
Would have procced and would have gotten the kill.
Great response from Skylar there. Not to go down. They don't want to give that advantage to either of these gold laners, right? They're going to be battling it out here. And we know, again, how scary carry can be, especially if you get those kills. But Yawi, going to be the focus, gets out of here just fine. Still, again, Rrq holding on to a very minuscule gold lead. But, I mean, objectively, they're where they want to be, right? Continue this up, farm up, and just keep responding, putting pressure on them.
Skylar not flickering right at the get-go. It allowed him to also force the flicker onto Benikuti. And the reason why he felt very tanky up until the end is because of the fact that the outer turret energy shields in the gold lane provide 30% damage reduction. And Skylar forcing another flicker and not dying kind of means that the bottom lane is still equalized.
Skylar.
I'm surprised you weren't freaking out that Sanji was about to die there. He gets, I mean, overall, Albert is putting quite a bit of pressure, and I would argue is
awas, ada Yawi,
to a certain degree. But let's see on bot side, tier 1, the shields are getting farmed out for the time being, but Echo, as we mentioned before, just wants to focus on the farm.
Yeah, I'm still wondering too, you know, the fact that there is no purifies here for Rrq. if they're just going to completely rely on their
derby
reaction time, right, to
Manchester.
get out of danger or to have that, basically, I
At
like to call
all
it the
there,
athletic flicker out of those bad areas, right? Because, yes, if Yawi holds on to it,
Oh, wait, effort! He actually flies clean. He's going to get this kill, but no, the real one manipulation gives him a shield. He ends up dying regardless. Feathered airstrike. Now putting R7 out of this fight. Black Dragon form in the middle of it. Is he really willing to play with death? Shaw residue already proper. Sanji took his form, but the backline now in trouble. Cartizi ends up dying. One shadow into the shadow kill. By Albert, still alive. Finn, what can he do? Forced the flicker out of there. 2-for-1 trade in favor of Echo.
Oh, man, Echo. That was against Sanford opening up the backlines. Previously, in the first turtle fight, it was against Albert, but this time it was against Clay. Even after the flicker coming out from Clay, we know the one-shot potential coming out from the Lapu Lapu to take out the Eve. Eventually, the follow-up from Yawi allowed for Echo to win the battle afterwards. Unfortunately, though, Albert was still very good with the Rrq.
Alright, let's pull this back for a moment here, because I'm trying to figure out where Echo is going to eventually plan their attack on their map. It feels like they're playing defensive, right? Yawi's opened up the map, but then how does Cartizi make this play?
Well, I guess that what they are waiting for is to at least equalize when it comes to the turtle fight, then activate Benny Cutie. So to answer your question, later on, around 8 minutes time, when you can have Benny Cutie deal the damage with 3 items, that is where you strike. Until this point, Echo, everybody's just buying time.
I'm holding you to that 8 minutes on the dot.
Yeah, we'll see if Wolf predicts that correctly, right? And the curse doesn't affect him here. But still, going back to the point, I mean, if Benny Cutie can just farm up, great thing, right? That's exactly what he wants to do. Him and Skylar, same scenario, right? None of them have gone down. You see, though, how much of time is actually put on the gold lane for both these teams. You guys mentioned this in the draft. If you can have someone babysit the lane, great. Now, it's a little bit different because Diggy's not constantly there. But still, even Yawi's paying attention to that lane. Trying to give any upper hand possible to their gold laner is the best thing that could happen for both of these teams. Because even, yes, there's, 200 gold there. It really doesn't mean much for Rrq. But they have the objectives, right? If they can get this next turtle in about, 10 seconds, then that's great for Albert and the squad. Can transition into the Lord takes and really set themselves up for success here. Echo, though, knowing all of that, Sanji having 2 kills early on, the burst damage is going to be there. So, as long as Rrq can avoid that burst coming out from Echo, Sanford with the setups like this.
Oh, I mean, Sanford, he wants it, but the fact is he's got no ult now, and now Albert might have a free kill in his hands. He's walking up Black Dragon form as well. Wall charge.
Nice start.
But there we go. Albert secures it. R7 now in some trouble. Cartizi pushes him out of position, and now in a 2v1, R7's lead is just enough, but on the bottom side, almost soul kill. Skylar's baiting him into it, and now Albert is going to secure the kill.
Astagfirullah, jangan.
That's just disrespectful. Okay. Skylar was just being disrespectful.
Astaga, Skylar.
Skylar, I would have really commended what he did because he baited Benny Cutie in there. The TPs were uncalled for though. Because
you want a TP?
Yeah, there wasn't any escape anymore. Unfortunately, Skylar, that's 100 per. He already did 100 level play, then he went down because of those TPs. Rrq Hoshi, great understanding of how to take turtle number 3. What they did was to stay in the bottom bush, in a right side bush in the middle, I mean.
Jangan lupa cek rumput, bus.
After Sanford already committed the bravest fighter onto the Yuzhong.
Nah lo, panda. Nah lo.
Cartizi in some trouble now. Skylar, he lands it. Oh, he's so low, but he's still alive. Sanford with the bravest warrior already in the middle of it. He has to get on out there. Sanji's trying to help him out, but
Awas,
Yawi.
Yawi.
As real one manipulation comes up, they get the kill onto Skylar once again, but they traded kill back, so that's going to be support for gold laner.
That's a good trade right here, but still a lot of unfold there, a lot of ultimates and resources expended, but still Rrq
seharusnya carry nggak dapat kill itu.
1.6k. Wolf, how's it looking in terms of items?
Okay, so we're looking at Skylar just picking up all the important items like Blade of Desire eventually into his second damage item, but he needs a Wind of Nature. Now that's also true with this Benny Cutie carry. So far, we know that they wanted to activate it at 8 minutes, right? so they did. Yawi was able to find an opening to the backlines, and that is one thing that Rrq should be respecting.
Oh, again, and it looks like a repeat of history, but Yawi this time doesn't even go for that engage, and it feels like to me that Skylar is a little desperate after his little mishap down on the bottom side.
Yeah, he wants the kill there. He did pick up the Malefic Roar, so that damage is going to be there even more so now. You know, even though he's got the 2 assists, he wants those kills because he does know as well that Benikuti is going to be scaling up, especially past this game.
Oh no, play. He gets pulled back, but it really doesn't matter. He flickers on backwards. His
The flicker.
to cover his back. Nicely done. The teamwork from Rrq.
Midlane udah flicker dua-duanya.
Great teamwork coming up for Rrq, like I said, and this means that they might have the better control of the first Lord of the game. What are they doing right now? What they should be doing right now is to control the lanes first before they engage onto the first Lord dance. So they're using Skylar up to the top lane, bottom lane already pushed out. Mid lane should be answered by R7 or maybe Clay in here.
Yeah.
It's going to be up to how Rrq is going to control this Lord.
Well, let's see how they're going to, because bot side is already stacked up the full wave. That tier 2 might be in some trouble, and Rrq don't mind leaving this B. Orange buff being taken away by Hayabusa, but the rest of Echo are
Nggak setengah, jebol.
Tier 2 is already down. They can still let this bleed even more, but now they're going to force the
Yawi,
issue. Sanford's
ada
walking
flicker.
back into the fight. Conceal coming out from Vin. He's going to take the long way around. Yawi is looking for an opportunity. Albert might be in some trouble. Quad Shadow's out of there, but on the opposite side, here we go. R7 jumping into the middle of that fight. Bravest Warrior forcing Sanford out, but now he flippers right on top of Clay. He's down. Benikuti's in trouble. Skylar might have to take the 1v1. The Quad Shadow's already down, and the Shadow kill isn't enough. Albert still alive, trying to get on out there. But Sanford's chasing him down. Nuzong is dead, and that's going to be a 3-for-0 trade in favor of Echo.
And even the Lord belongs to Echo. What a great play from their side. Rrq Hoshi, they tried to go for the conceal play. They wanted to tag Sanford. Unfortunately, that left both Clay and Skylar exposed to Yawi. Yawi didn't find the first jump over. As you saw Rrq, they still managed to get away from there, but their position was already compromised. Albert was too far when the Lord was put onto low. And you see Echo, despite losing the first 3 turtles, just control the Lord that's much better than they did Rrq.
Not only that, but I mean, even that team fight, you saw how much pressure there was from Echo that Skylar actually didn't have the opportunity to get in the positioning he wanted to. He had the defensive flicker out, and now they're dealing with this siege coming out from Echo. They still have the Lord also on the bottom side to work with. They're going to lose more turrets here and have to be forced to defend their base. Conceal play comes out, just getting a check here. But the big thing for Rrq, they do have Clay. Their defense, their high ground defense should be pretty good, at least to this point. It's only 12 minutes in the game. Lord is even at half health here. So let's see how this one plays out.
Already using his conceal. He's in the middle of everybody. Oh, well, let's see. He finds one. And now the Feather Airstrike in combination. Petrify onto Benikuti. R7 trying his best. He's in the middle of the fight, but nobody can support him. Albert finds one. Contizi is dead. And now they're looking for a second as they find the Bravest Warrior next. And now with it all, Albert still lands it. But it's
Skylar! Skylar! The sniper!
Monster snipes it from halfway underneath the inhibitor turret.
That deserves the Dave sheesh, because he has been waiting for that moment in this game. Skylar finally gets it, and that's a massive successful defense from Rrq.
This word doesn't exist, but I'm gonna use it. So many sheeshable moments out there. As you saw Yawi with a jump, right? You saw this as flicker, but look at that combination of Clay and Vin. Guardian's barrier with a diamond-shaped box, and then eventually Skylar just sniping Benikuti. My goodness.
That was clean.
That's the word. Sheeshable.
Good Lord. Oh, man. I don't know. These Beatrix players are disgustingly good. Well, a little too good for my taste here. I want to go back to some of that basic stuff. I feel bad about myself now.
Well, I mean, at this point, they've turned it around. Rrq, they had to defend the high ground. They did. Yes, they lost a couple turrets, but they profited off of it, right? I mean, they have that defense. They get a couple members of Echo down, and now you can see that, right? With that swing, that pendulum swing, momentum in their favor, they just have to be cautious with the setups from Yawi. That's the biggest thing here. The next Lord is going to be up. Rrq is in a good position to actually take this one, and Echo knows it.
How about that? There's Sanji and Yawi up top. For Bush, you have to be careful about this, and Rrq doesn't have vision of that.
Ada.
Already utilizing this this Renner. That's the make sure that they scout out additional members. And I think that Rrq has a little bit of the same idea. They want to control the outside pushes.
Aduh,
Like,
itu
the Lord
Parsha
has,
sama
the Lord only has 2 heroes, and
Parsha,
everybody's just
Atlas,
dispersed.
Look at that.
Carry,
They're waiting for that conceal
tiga
play. They got
gitu.
Benny Cutie there on the top side. Carl TZ still going to bounce this Lord around here, keeping everyone.
Gila zoningnya
on
di
the
situ
hunt.
ya.
They're trying to figure
What?
out where the other members are. Lord half health, here comes the conceal.
Yep, Yawi's coming in. R7's already looking to engage Clay. Once again, is this a repeat of history? No.
Bert.
They back off. Now the real one manipulation. Watch hard
Bert.
as well. Already hitting 2. Falling into Rena's apathy. It's all over now. As now they try to jump in. Sanford turns it around. Finds Skyline as well as Finn. They push through. Benny finds it again. Taking out Clay. A triple kill. Absolutely shredding through them. But now they're chasing them down. How many can they find? Echo is looking for some as much value as possible, but R7 tries to turn it around, but it doesn't matter. Benny QT hasn't even used his Winds of Nature and flickers for it. 4-4-2 so far.
Benny Cutie, the hurricane of Echo. You saw how it was activated in that fight. They utilized Yawi as well as Sanji from topside with a concealed play, and it's almost a repeat of history. But then again, after Clay already utilized his ultimate, and then Albert is no longer a threat to the carry.
Tembus
That's why he
pulamitnya.
was able to rise to the occasion. He found 3 members of Rrq, and the Lord Dance was perfect from Echo, especially because Call TC won the Retribution battle against Albert. My God, that was the disaster for Rrq Hoshi because of Benny Cutie's calamity.
Not only that, but the fact that they waited patiently for the conceal play, and now it's again RQ on the defense.
Yep, TZ in trouble here. Oh no, Clay's in trouble. He can't do much about it.
Yawi belakang.
Yawi finds it, and now they have a double kill. Sanford cleans it up. They're going to be ending this. Echo takes game number 3. GG. Well played.
Benny gets his
Gila,
eyes on the
gila.
crystal, and he doesn't hold back. He goes
Flanknya
right
gila,
for it.
flanknya.
Bring it Echo to 2-1 in the series. It's match point.
Oh, what a game this
What
is.
a game.
It's such back and forth, like RRQ break even, then Echo break